Hi guys, it's been a minute. So today's class is all about where is my body? Where are my muscles? How deeply can I work? And just what is my alignment? So take a moment for yourself on the floor, feeling the ground underneath you. Place your hands on top of your pelvis, on your hip bones. Just check in and breathe and see where you are today. When you're ready, we're going to do a little rocking forward and back with the pelvis, a little tilt and a little tuck. Just trying to loosen up that lower back. Turn your head side to side if it feels good, getting a little stretch. Try to keep your shoulder blades down and keep your shoulders feeling open. Reach your arms to the ceiling and overhead. Try to maintain that alignment in the shoulder blades. When you're ready, curl up and then lower down, adding the arms if you're ready, but be careful that the ribs don't open and the back does not arch when your arms go overhead. Take a little pause to stretch if you need to. Reach the arms up or reach the hands back behind your head. And we're going to start with some upper body curls and lower down. Elbows wide, armpits open, feet are flat on the ground. Try not to grip the toes at all. Try to keep the legs parallel. If you need something between your inner thighs to help with that, go ahead and pause and grab a pillow or a block or something. Little curl up and down. Try to curl up a little bit higher if you can. Switch your hands. Little tiny pulses up when you're ready. Not too big on keeping count for many of the exercises today, just more about doing them and doing them correctly. Pause when you need to, wiggle your hips a little, loosen up that low back again if it's tight. We're going to add a little rotation to the right and left, and then lower down just 2 times each side. Rotate right, rotate left, and again right, and again left. And I added an extra one in. You can if you want to. That was unintentional. Straight to the left and right and left and right and down. And again, twisting. I'm about to be interrupted by my dog. So you can keep on twisting or you can watch for a moment. He's still a puppy. That's Fred. Why are you so crazy? Why are you crazy right now? So, getting back to things. Go ahead and bring your legs up to tabletop. Keep your hands behind your head. Twist to the right and extend the left leg, and then vice versa. If you're not ready to add those legs, you can keep them down or you can keep them in tabletop. But your pelvis stays nice and still, tailbone stays down, rest for a moment when you need to, and then keep going or repeat. I believe we're going to try 4 times each side, 8 total. And then resting in between. Do a little shift side to side if you need to. If you're awesome and you're on it and you want to keep going and you don't want to rest in between, go for it. If you need to rest, take that rest. If you need to do less, then do less. Just find out where your body is. Go ahead and switch those hands. Switch what hand is on top when you're behind your head. I tend to have one that feels more natural, so just trying to make your body a little more aligned and a little more balanced. Resting down when you need to. Hold on to your shins or your knees gently. Let your legs open. Open up those hips. Little hip circles, thigh circles, I should say. Thighs are rotating within the hips. Knees are staying bent. You can do circles down, out, and in, about 4, and then reversing out, down, and together. My abs are still engaged here, just so my pelvis doesn't rock too much, so I can just focus on rotation within the hips. So finding that alignment again, feet down, tuck the pelvis, lift into a bridge if you're ready to go there, and then roll down. Keep your head centered. Don't turn your head side to side so that you protect your cervical spine, the back of your neck. And add on to this bridge. Lengthening the spine, opening up the front of the hips, engaging the hamstrings too, really feeling the back of your thighs activated. My hands are on my hips now just to check out where my alignment is, making sure that I'm even, and I'm going to lift my arms to the ceiling. I'm going to bend one elbow to take my hand towards my head to the ground, and then back my arms are activated and engaged so that they stay parallel. So my arms are engaged and they are working. so that my elbow stays, my upper arm stays where it is. Palms down, pressing my arms down to the ground, up to the ceiling, and as far overhead as I can go, keeping my ribs closed. Trying not to move anything else in the rest of my body initially, but now I'm adding the arm movement to the bridge. So I'm pressing my arms down as I lift to the bridge, and then I'm reaching my arms up and back as I lower. And now, little tiny lift and lowers, 8 or 10, activating the hamstrings, the thighs, the glutes, not necessarily your butt. If you're having trouble getting into the hamstrings, you can think a little bit, I'm going to activate my butt, but try to get into the hamstrings a little bit more as opposed to your glutes. So bring your legs in, rock side to side a bit, and then coming up. We're going to roll like a ball just a couple times. Keep your chin towards your chest. Keep that rounded shape. Curving in the spine, engaging the core, lifting in the core, keeping the legs as much into you as you can. And then we're going to take the legs long on the ground and take a little stretch forward. We're going to do a little rolling down, and we're going to do a little rowing series too from our reformer. But first, just a nice gentle roll down. Arms are going with your body. Arms are helping. Breath is helping exhale on the way up. Engage the core deeper. Rounding up, sitting nice and tall. And reach the arms up. Bend the elbows to the sides. Pretend like you're pulling down. And I want to see those shoulder blades activated. And I want those shoulders to stay down. So the shoulders do not lift when the arms lift, which might mean that your arms are not as close to your head, that they're maybe in more of a wider V. After a few of those, go back down to the roll down. We're going to do one more variation of that, I believe. I did this yesterday. Let's see if I remember. A little more like a rowing action. My arms are going to stay at the same level, and I'm just mimicking a pull on a machine, like I'm pulling against some weight. And then I'm just going to stretch forward, stretching out my back here, as well as my legs. Making sure you're breathing. So now we're going to do our rowing series, and I'm going to face to the front to show you what it is. We're going to start with a rounded spine. My arms are curved in front of me, and my palms are facing away. This is normally done on the reformer. I'm going to round back. I'm going to open my arms. I'm going to dive forward and reach my arms back. I'm going to keep my body. I'm going to reach my arms up and over, trying not to move my shoulders. And then I'm going to round up and do it again. We're rounding back. Opening the doors as if you're opening the doors. Dive forward. Shoulders try to stay down as you reach the arms up and over. I'm a little bit limited with my space, but not too much. Rounding back up. Now we're going to show the flat back variation. I don't remember which way the palms face. I believe they face towards you. You're going to hinge back. You're going to reach up. And then same thing. Dive forward. Swim your arms behind you. Keep your torso forward as you reach your arms back up and over. And then you reset. So flat back, elbows bent, palms face you, hinge back, reach up, don't move the shoulders, dive forward, swim back. This is where I was limited with my space. And then the arms reach up and over, try to keep the torso where it is. This is a tricky one, and it really, really is dependent on what your shoulder mobility is. So I'm going to show each one again, just facing the opposite direction, starting with a rounded spine and the arms curved in front of you. And you're going to round back. For these, you're going to do 2 with a rounded back and then 2 with a flat back. So we're rounding, we're opening, we're diving forward, and then the arms reach up and over. Trying to keep that torso forward, and then rounding up, stacking the spine nice and tall. And then again, rounding back, opening, diving forward, the arms reach back, and then the arms swim up and over, torso stays. And then rounding back up, flat back, palms face you. You can have your arms or your hands long, spine is long, so you don't have to hold with the hands. You can have the palms flat. Diving forward, and then rounding back up and over. And then sitting nice and tall. One more time with that flat back, hinge back, arms stretch long. Dive forward, swim back with the arms, keep the torso forward, swim the other way. And then rounding back up. So that's a rowing series that's normally done on the reformer. I just showed 2. Go ahead and find your way back onto your back. Let your knees fall to the left. Turn your head to the right. Get a little twist in the back, a little twist in the spine. Take a few deep breaths here. 5 would be great. Go for at least 3. When you're ready, no rush. You can switch to the other side. Deep inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth. If you can, let your arm on the ground be long. Try to keep that shoulder blade down. And then go ahead and flip over. We're going to come onto hands and knees. Just a little rounding and arching through the back. Make sure that hands are under shoulders, hips are over knees, and articulating through your spine as much as you can. We're going to isolate that articulation in a moment. Feeling the crown of your head and your tailbone moving through space and reaching their endpoints as much at the same time as you can. And then if you want to isolate and go just the lower spine, pelvis, tilting and tucking, rounding and arching, see if you can isolate that if it feels good. And then we're going to also try to isolate the upper spine, including the cervical spine and the head. A little harder for me anyway to isolate this, the upper part of my spine. A little head turn, a little side to side. If you feel so inclined, you can take this into a circular motion, which I will be doing just because it feels good. If you're taking that circular motion, go both directions. And if you find an area where you feel a little stuck or stiff, hang out there. Do smaller movements there if it feels good, just whatever you need. And then we're going to stretch back into a down dog. Bend your knees, stretch the calves, stretch the hamstrings. Pedal the feet if it feels good. Lift and lower the heels. Just feeling the weight lifted off of the body. Just feel nice and long in your spine. Feel space in between your vertebrae. Come to a plank position when you're ready. Lower down and up and lower and up. Bending the elbows, doing some push-ups. We're not going to do many, don't worry. And stretch back to a down dog. Coming to that plank position, and again, lower all the way down this time. Lift up into a baby swan or a cobra, depending on your school of knowledge. Just stretching the back, arching that spine, reversing all the forward flexion. Feel open in the shoulder blades, or open in the shoulders and open in the collarbone. Do a little baby swan here. Take your forehead down to the back of your hands. Hands are stacked. Do a little curve, a little arch up and down. A little arch up. Switching the hands and down. A little arch up and down and up. Switch those hands again and down. Rock those hips, loosen up that low back again. Hands at your sides like a grasshopper, pushing all the way up into a full swan. If you're ready, go ahead and extend your arms forward if you need to, if it feels better for you. Or you can keep them closer to you. Try not to have them too wide or too close together for that matter. Bend one knee as you lower, lengthen that leg down, and then we're going to bend the opposite knee as you lower. And then lengthen down, just a little coordination. Then we're going to bend both knees. Take this into a rock, almost like the base of a rocking chair or a rocking horse. You're going to go forward and back, but you're going to not hit your face on the ground. That's not pleasant. Feeling the momentum in the body, and then you'll lower down. Not too many of those. Bend the knees, rotate the ankles. Let the knees fall side to side. Let your hips go side to side, kind of windshield wipers. Windshield wiper-esque, depending on your space, perhaps. And then go ahead and take a child's pose stretch. Again, feeling length in the torso, feel length in the spine. Feel your hips dropping towards your heels. Try to let your neck relax. Come into forearms and elbows, and from here we're going to do a down dog. So there's no weight on my head. It's all on your arms and your feet. I'm just lifting and lowering my heels. I'm going to go into a plank position. My elbows are a little wide, so I bring them back in. I'm just going to hold that plank. I'm going to lift one foot and then the other. If you want to do any other variations, feel free. If you just want to work on holding that plank, go ahead and just work on holding that plank. When you need to, you're going to lower down to rest down. I'm taking that little arch, and I'm going to do a little quad stretch here as well. whatever you need here. I'm going to go into some side leg work after this. So just a little stretch if you need. If you want to do that plank again, go for it. You're going to turn onto the left side of your body. Right leg is on top. The left hand is supporting the head, or you can have a pillow or a block. Knees are bent to start. Right leg extends out, and you're just going to lift and lower, keeping the foot flexed and the leg parallel. So you're not going to lift too high. You're going to bend in and push out just 4. We're going to combine. We're going to add on as we go. So you're going to lengthen, lift, lower, bend in. Stretch long, lift, lower, bend in. Just 2 more. Hips stay stacked, abs are super engaged. Bring the foot forward and back. Flex as you come forward and then point as you go back. Take this slow to start. We don't want to let the torso roll. So you want to find that stability first. And if you need more space, feel free to adjust. So the leg stays long and parallel, and the foot flexes to the front and points to the back. So as if the heel is leading forward, top of the foot stretches long behind. We're going to take some circles. 4 to the back and 4 to the front. Try to keep the leg rotated. And we're trying to just move the leg without lifting the hip. And we're going to combine. So you're going to bring the leg forward, lift to make a larger swirl to the back, and then flex the foot as you come forward. Point, rotate, turn out to the back. Coming back forward. And then we'll reverse. I believe I do more of these on the other side, which is why it hurt more. So I only did 2 in that direction. So we're going to add on all of it. So we're going to bend the knee in, stretch the leg long, lift, lower, and circle. Bend in and flex, parallel, stretch long, stay parallel as you lift and lower, and then bring the leg to the front, rotate to the back. Bend the knee in, stretch long, lift, lower, rotate to the back. Try one more in that direction. Oops, nope, we're going to reverse. So I did 3, having that circle towards the back, and then we'll see how many I do, 3 or 4 in that direction. So we're combining all of them, bending, lifting, lowering to the back or front, and then circling to the other direction. So I did 4 to the back and 3 starting at the front. Resting down, we're going to stretch out that area that we just worked before doing the other side. So the other side I do a little bit more of one of those just because I didn't remember what I had done. Try to keep it even. So whatever you did on this side, however many you did, do the same amount. So taking a little figure 4 stretch. You can flex that right foot. You can rotate those ankles. And just breathe. We're going to turn around. We're going to do the other side. So you're going to set yourself up on the right side of your body. Left leg will be on top. Right hand supporting the head. Both knees are bent. Lifting and lowering. Foot is flexed. Leg stays parallel. Bend in and stretch long. Really stretch long. Try to feel length in the back of the knee. And then we're going to go combining those 2. Bend in, stretch long, lift and lower. My left hand is on my left hip, just to make sure that that left hip stays where it should. You can place that left hand on the ground for stability if you need to. So we're moving on. Our left leg is going to go forward and back, straight and parallel, flexing to the front and pointing to the back. So try not to let the pelvis go with your leg. Try not to let the pelvis roll forward when your leg is back. It's going to want to do that. Try not to let it. Try to feel length in that hip flexor in the front of that left hip when that left leg is behind. We're going to add our circles, keeping that rotation. That right leg is helping to stabilize as well. Reverse that rotation of the left leg. So your right leg can be pressing down a bit to help stabilize. I'm going to combine, pausing if you need to. So I did a little more of those, or maybe it was this one that I did a little more of than on the other side. So bringing the leg forward, we're just doing a bigger circle. Yeah, so this side I did 4, the other side I only did 2. So I leave that up to you. But that's why I was feeling this one more. Try to be even just in terms of like how many forward and back you do, how many in each direction. Resting for a moment if you need to, and then we're going to combine all of them. So your knee bends in, leg stretches long, bring the leg up and down, forward to circle, back. Parallel in, parallel out, forward, back, up and down, and circle. I think I did that in the wrong order, but you know what it is. Up and down, and then forward and back, and circle. Pausing for a moment if you need to before we reverse. Stretching long, lift and lower, back circle up, bending in, stretch long, lift and lower, back and circle to the front, lifting the leg to the front. One more, I believe, up and down, reach forward, stretching, reaching long, and in, and out, up and down, and forward, and then resting down. That was rough for me. Hope you're feeling it. Take that quad stretch if you would like, and then you're going to make your way onto your back for figure 4 stretch. I'm going to cross the left ankle over the right knee. And breathe. You can have the right foot on the ground, or you can hold on to that right shin or the right hamstring. You can turn your head side to side if you would like. You can rotate the ankles. You can stretch that right leg long too if you want. When you're ready, release that stretch. Let the knees fall open. If you want to do happy baby, you can do happy baby. Rock side to side a bit. Find that alignment again in case you lost it. Bring those legs up to tabletop, flex the feet. One heel goes to the ground, and then the other heel. So we're working the lower abs. This is good to do actually after having just done side leg, because the psoas, our hip flexors, our hamstrings, our glutes might be a little bit sore. So maybe they might not fire up, which is what we want right now. We want the lower abs to fire up and not too much else to help control that lower and lift of those heels. So as I was explaining that, I curled my upper body up and I reached my arms to the ceiling to add a little extra challenge. And I'm going right into my hundreds. So inhaling, exhaling as long as you can. Have those legs in tabletop, have the upper body curled up and arms are pumping nice and strong. We're going to straighten one leg and then we're going to straighten both legs. The lower the legs, the more work it is. You're going to bend the opposite knee in and then bend both knees in. Continue to breathe. Turn the head side to side. Stretch both legs long again. Lower the legs if you want more of a challenge, but don't let your low back take it. Those abs are working. Arms are strong. Deep inhale, deep exhale, and then rest down. We're going to do some teasers. So my legs are in tabletop, my arms are long, and they're reaching up and down, and I'm just going to adjust so that you can see what's going on. So my core is strong, my back is long. Hold on to the legs for a moment if you need to catch your balance. So we're going to keep those legs in the air, bent or long, and then controlling yourself down. Arms to the ceiling, curl up, exhale. Sitting nice and tall, and again rolling down. Arms go overhead, and then arms go right back to the ceiling, and they help lift you up. Hold on to the legs if you need. Stay lifted, stay balanced. Our legs are going to lower. Upper body is going to stay. Arms are helping wherever you need them to be. More of a challenge would be arms overhead. Try to keep your torso still. And then bring the legs down, stretch forward. Good job, guys. Stretching the back, stretching the legs, stretching the neck a little bit. You're gonna come onto your hands and knees, run and arch a little bit, do what your back needs. And then I'm gonna go to a down dog and stretch those legs. I'm gonna walk my feet in a little bit. I'm gonna feel nice and long in the body. I'm gonna twist a little because it feels good, bending one knee and then the other. And I'm gonna take one more child's pose stretch. Make your way onto your back and one more twist. You can also do this with just one leg. So you can have your, on this side it would be having your right leg long, your left knee bent across the body. A little bit different of a stretch. When you're ready, coming up, make your way onto your feet, keep your torso forward, have your knees bent if you need them to be. Otherwise, keep the legs stretching long, shake out the head, and loosen up the neck. Brush off the dog fur. Bend the knees, rounding up. Nice and tall. We're going to do a little side stretch to finish up, which you won't see, but I will tell you about it. So you're going to feel the pelvis underneath you, feel a lift up the front. Feel the tailbone dropping down and lengthening in the back. Those abs are zipping up the front of the body. You're going to have your left arm down at your side. Your right arm is going to reach up and over. You're going to take a little side bend to your left. Come up in the center and reverse, taking a side bend to your right. Do that again if you need to. You're going to take your arms overhead and dive forward. Bend the knees when you get down there. And we'll do one last roll up. Nice and slow. Let the head be the last thing up. Standing nice and tall, roll the shoulders back a bit. And then take the hands behind to reach the arms down and open up the chest. Nice job, guys.